LGBTQ Officer. The LGBTQ Officer is responsible for representing the views and needs of LGBTQ students and making sure they are taken into account by the Students' Union and the university. They run campaigns to make York a more inclusive and diverse place for LGBTQ people and see that awareness of LGBTQ issues is increased. They also lead the LGBTQ Network, which is a student group which exists to help LGBTQ students get to know each other, runs discussions, relaxed meetings, and get involved with events like York Pride.
Hello everyone, I'm Izzie and I'm joined by Matt and Dan, who are hoping to be re-elected as your LGBTQ officers for the next academic year. So I'm going to start off with a nice little broad question here. Why have you decided to rerun for the position this year?
Well, the reason we reran for LGBTQ officer is we managed to get some great things done over the last year and we've seen some amazing progress. So why stop there? We want to finish the job we started and we want to carry on making great progress for queer students at York.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we're working on at the moment is our gender neutral toilets campaign, and it would just be fantastic to see that through for another term and just really see some good progress made for students on campus.
Sounds amazing. So in your manifesto, you pledged to continue holding more events for students. Is this something that you feel you've been able to achieve over the past year, especially with current restrictions, unfortunately? And what are your plans for the future with that?
Well, personally, I think we've achieved it pretty well. For example, like we did the queer cabaret, and that was incredibly popular. That had over 200 students attending.
The whole forest, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. The whole forest just completely booked out. And some of the comments we got back from that was just amazing.
You've plowed through.
For continuing into the future, obviously, sort of if re-elected, one of the things we have is experience in working with sort of a secure COVID environment with putting events on online. So we have that experience. So we're looking into things such as chilled mixer evenings, potentially another queer cabaret, and even more guest speakers.
So you've ploughed through. Very well done. So obviously events are sort of a place where people can come and sort of bring everybody together from the community. And that's been a kind of a great step forward in terms of inclusivity. We've had a great step forward this year as well with the newly named Anne Lister College. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you aim to continue to push for inclusivity and awareness?
Well, firstly, when we heard that the new college was being named after Anne Lister, we were thrilled because it's a symbol of LGBTQ representation. Now, obviously, sort of in addition to things like the new Pride Rainbow Crossing outside the Screen Lane building, it's good to see these steps being taken, but we also want to see more tangible change. So, for example, students need to be able to self-define easier through university systems, because more often than not, we're seeing students unfortunately misgendered, the wrong pronouns, the wrong name used. So whilst we're happy to see these steps being taken by the university towards progression, we want to try and get something a bit more tangible and a little bit more progressive than that.
Yeah, while those moves by the uni are very nice and it's a great sign from them, we really do want those extra steps. Like, another thing we'd really love is, you might have heard about the quadrupling of the funding to Open Door and the hiring of a new BAME practitioner. What we'd really love to see is if an LGBTQ plus inclusive practitioner was also included in the funding, because that would really help support students.
Yeah. So obviously we've not got too long left, but based on your progress so far within the LGBTQ community and also your continued pledges from last year, why do you think people should re-elect you?
Well, I think that why people should re-elect us is because we've had this year of experience, and sort of, as we've said, we've had a year in a COVID environment where it's changed all of our plans initially, but we've adapted to that. We've changed our plans up to work with the environment. So why should you re-elect us? Because we have that experience and we have a plan.
Great. That's amazing. So yeah, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for, but I'd like to thank you for talking to us today, and I'm going to pass over to Scarlett for our next interview now.
Women and non-binary students